last episode we explored the Top National Park and now we are on the way into the Pilliga. Just a beautiful drive here. I just thought I smelled something and I thought I hear it dripping. But I have an issue. Yeah, so this is a coolant hose. I've stopped it for now. We're gonna let it cool down now. It is really only rubber fatigue of that bung. So we let it cool down, have brekkie, and then try to concord up something which can get me into town and buy a new bung. Something unexpected happens. Most important thing, fix immediate. What you need immediately, then think about it. Best approach. So that's what we're doing now. Having nice brekkie. And let the engine cool down, cool down. Then we build something. We're currently considering the options. Option 1, removing the bung, using silicone tape, wrapping it around it, hose clamping it back on. That may do. Basti has a big piece of hose, fairly thick. So you have to see where that fits. It's obviously open. Then either putting a big bolt in here, or alternatively, because I don't think I have one that size, I have marine epoxy. Fill it up with marine epoxy. Takes 60 minutes to cure. Last scenario would be carving a bung out of wood, but not really what I want to do. I went for the most likely solution that was also the quickest fix. While we had various rubber hoses on board, testing the exact size meant removing the old bung, and that thing was pretty tight. Cutting it off would work, but if the hoses didn't fit properly, I'd have no fallback option. Since the duct tape had stopped the flow when the system wasn't under full pressure, I reckoned silicone tape might actually do the job properly. I could remove the hose clamp, wind the silicone tape tightly around the damaged bung, then clamp it down again. I was fairly confident that these would at least get us into town and possibly even see us through the entire trip. Guys, I'm carrying that silicone tape for years and I've been waiting for so long to use it. I hope that will fix it. I'm fairly confident. I mean, we will see. I've wrapped now silicone tape all around it. Now I'm going to fix a hose clamp. Then we go back into town and buy a new bung. Rolling again. Let's see whether my bush fix here lasts. I called the local mechanic in Kola and they are open. Yeah, the local mechanic here at Lace. And see whether he can put a joiner in instead of that T-piece. So the local mechanic at Kola, which I'm very grateful, just squeezed us in and did that immediately. We're in and out in an hour. He only had this joiner, which he installed instead of this one. And we thought that was a permanent fix and would hold. Unfortunately, as you will see soon, it didn't actually hold for too long. Let me know in the comment section why this wasn't a good replacement for this, even if it was the same thickness. So we're just driving into Baradine. At the Pilligar Discovery Center, you get a proper look at the toolkit that sustained the Gamilaroi people in this country for thousands of years. The hunting spear, or wamara, here shows the craftsmanship perfectly balanced for taking game in dense scrubland. The bubuwin, an emu caller, demonstrates how hunters could mimic bird calls to draw their quarry within range. The slender parrying shield, the yilliman, light enough for quick defensive movements, but strong enough to deflect spears and clubs in combat. The battle axe, or wangara, shows the dual-purpose nature of these tools, equally effective for warfare or heavy-duty camp work. The small throwing club, the lilil, was designed for stunning smaller game, while the larger club, or bondi, could deliver a decisive blow in small combat. Then there is the old settler's dingo hunting trap, a reminder of how European arrival changed the relationships with this landscape. Given it was already reasonably late and we like to support the local community, we opted for having dinner in town and then make our way out into the Pilligar forest, where we pre-booked a camp spot at the Dandry Gorge campground. There are multiple entrance roads into the Pilliga, and we chose what looked like the most obvious route on the map via Beveridge Road. Don't make the same mistake. It's actually a dead end that'll have you turn around and looking for alternatives. We ended up taking a detour through Indian Lane and Meg's Road to actually get where we were heading. Timalali National Park in the Pilliga, looking for the Yowie. Will we finally catch him tonight? The dense Pilliga forest has long been considered prime Yowie territory, with more reported sightings than anywhere else in Australia. Aborigine people knew it as a jingra, a large, hairy, bipedal creature that roamed the scrubland. Modern encounters describe a towering, ape-like figure moving through the timber with surprising stealth. Local Aboriginal groups have always regarded parts of the Pilliga as cursed country, warning people to stay away from certain areas. Whether it's an undiscovered species, ancient folklore, or just the mind playing tricks in this eerie landscape, the Pilliga's reputation as Australia's Bigfoot hotspot remains strong among those who venture into its dark corners. There is a whole website dedicated to Yowie sightings, so have a look if you're interested. While I'm not really superstitious, I was nevertheless keen to get into camp and possibly set up camp before it's getting dark. We're here at the sculptures in the scrub campground. Arrived a bit late just for a nice sunset. No one else here. No Yowie yet. But we have a good fire going to keep him at bay. The Pilliga stretches across 500,000 hectares, making it the largest remaining temperate woodland in eastern Australia. It's hard to get a real sense of just how vast and unbroken this country is. An endless sea of scrub and timber that rolls to every horizon. We had it completely to ourselves out here, which isn't hard to believe when you are talking about an area this size. The first night was quiet as anything. No mysterious sounds, no Yowie sightings, just a kind of deep bush silence that some city folk find unsettling. But looking out over this immense wilderness, you can certainly understand how legends take root. In country this big and isolated, with thousands of square kilometers of dense scrub where a person could disappear without trace, it's easy to imagine that something could be lurking out there, watching from the shadow. Whether it's real or not, the Pilliga has that kind of presence, ancient, untamed, and keeping its secrets well. But it's going to be a beautiful day. And sometimes I miss the breakfast. Look what Basti cooked up in his kitchen. I'm going for the sculptures in the scrub walk. Supposedly a 2-hour walk. Let's see what we find. Sebastian is bit behind. He still wants to do something else, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe I meet a Yowie. The walk along the escarpment was perfect timing. A beautiful sunny morning with the wattle in full bloom, painting the scrub in brilliant yellow. Following the ridgeline of Dandry Gorge, you encounter a variety of sculptures from different artists scattered through the bush. Towering stainless steel spirit figures, mosaic pieces celebrating woman's connection to country, and symbolic axe heads representing both Aboriginal and European history. I'm a bit torn about these artworks scattered through this pristine landscape. While they are well-crafted pieces, I can't help feeling that in country this naturally stunning, I'd rather just see nature doing its own thing. Looks like we are on a bit of a ridge here. I thought the Pilliga is all flat, but that is not the case. There definitely are quite a few canyons, valleys, rocky outcrops. Yeah, even though this is just a 2-hour walk in the scrub here, I mean there's no one else around, there's no phone reception, so I still carry my Garmin InReach Mini 2. Garmin also changed the plans now. You have to pay now $13 a month minimum, but at least for that I have SOS, so I'm not tracking with it, but I have it with me charged just for emergency purposes. If you're intending to do this walk early in the morning, I decided to take the left, so I'm gonna walk along the ridge and then later drop into the gorge, simply because it gives the sun a chance to rise a bit higher and give me some more light in the gorge. So I think early in the morning, probably left-hand walk on top of the ridge and then down in the gorge may be the better idea. While I was undecided about most of the sculptures scattered along the ridge, this particular piece really does fit. The bronze statue overlooking Dandry Gorge, First Lesson. It shows a father pointing out the country to his son, teaching him where to find food and how to read the landscape. You definitely can see how the indigenous probably would have stood here and overlook the valley, see what's going on. Beautiful spot here. I mean, how beautiful is this? All the yellow wattle in the gully. It's probably here 50-60 meter drop, I would think. Got to be some native bees here because I hear a lot of insects. Sitting here watching nature, hard to beat. When you drop down into the gorge itself, you immediately understand why these would have been a favorite spot for the Gamilaroi people. The gorge now, I think up there is where I sat somewhere, probably a bit further actually. It's absolutely beautiful, sheltered with water and abundant resources. You can picture generations gathering here, teaching their children the same lessons depicted in that bronze statue above. We had the entire gorge to ourselves, which made the experience even more special. Sometimes the best gallery is the one nature's been curating for thousands of years. Look at these interesting grass. Ant nest or something? Oh, it smells beautiful. I love that smell. It's not very strong, but if you go close up to it, it's beautiful. Have you tried?
Yeah.
Just finished the sculptures in the scrub walk and we did a bit of detour and also went down the gorge a little bit further, 4.74 kilometers. The whole time on the way is 58 minutes, so an hour, and that means we're sitting here and there taking pictures, videos. We decided to go for a quick drive to the salt caves. What the salt caves are, I think you can camp there as well, but I did leave my setup here, so we're coming back, that's for sure. But I don't know, if it's a nice spot to camp, maybe we go there tomorrow. Yeah, there are the salt caves here. Pilligar sandstone caves have been sheltering people for tens of thousands of years. These ancient formations were meeting places where different Aboriginal nations gathered, and the Gamilaroi people left their mark with rock engravings and grinding groves. The caves themselves were carved by geological processes over millions of years, creating perfect nature shelters. Local legend describes the salt caves as once being 30-meter deep with salt formations hanging like stalactite, though time and weather have changed their appearances considerably.
It's actually fairly deep. It used to be much deeper. And supposedly they got salt out of here. Did it say that that collapsed?
And it collapsed in 1930.
Okay.
And then no sign of salt was left.
And as usual, idiots carving their shit everywhere. I hope this is attractive. Yeah. Wow, you probably can hear the wind really has picked up. We have some gusts now coming here. Gotta take my head off. Steps, huh?
Yeah. Heights, but that's fine.
Huh?
Said I'm not a fan of heights.
Me neither. Look down here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We climbed the new fire tower, which sits on top of the caves, and now has been fully automated with cameras mounted on top for continuous forest monitoring. It was incredibly windy up there, but the view was spectacular, especially with all the wattle in full bloom, creating areas with a golden carpet of wattle. The old days of human fire spotters are largely gone, replaced by the automated system that can detect smoke and alert authorities faster than any person ever could.
The smell here with that wattle, it is just incredible. It's a trek to the dam, Salt Cave Dam. Ready for a swim?
Could be some yuppies in there.
Yeah, probably.
Our walk to the Pilliga Dam took us along the peaceful trek through typical Pilliga scrubland. On the way we encountered what looked like a snake, but turned out to be a legless lizard. One of those fascinating creatures that evolution designed to look exactly like a snake, but still retains eyelids and external ears. Upon return, we made our way back to camp, as I was a little bit uneasy having my stretcher and chairs all standing there all by itself, even though we didn't come across many other people. We had a pretty full-on day, with quite a few walks, so coming back to camp it was time for a cold drink, and I wanted to try my new Kilos footstool, which goes together with my chair, and relax. You know, I've tested quite a few power banks over the years from various manufacturers, but I'd actually never tested an Anker unit, despite owning several of their smaller devices and rating them highly. So when Anker approached me to review the Solix C1000, I was keen to see how it stacked up. After testing it at home and now on this trip, it's actually replaced my EcoFlow Delta 3 as my go-to travel power bank for induction cooking. Not because the EcoFlow is bad. I've been using Delta 2 and 3 units for years without issues. The Delta 3 has now been moved into a different role as my home UPS, keeping all my internet, NBN and routers alive during power failures, and it does a brilliant job in that capacity. The Anker matches the EcoFlow's quality while offering better ergonomics for my setup. The plastic enclosure feels more robust, and crucially, the port layout works better for me. The 220-volt charging port is on the left, which gives better access to my inverter, while the 220-volt outlets and all the ports are facing forward. This makes it much easier to pack, charge while driving, and monitor what is happening. The Solix handled my induction cooker without breaking a sweat and even survived the unexpected tumble from the table. While the longevity test is still outstanding, the workmanship and overall functionality have genuinely impressed me. Sometimes it's the practical details that make the difference between good gear and gear you actually use. That's a wrap for this episode, but don't go anywhere. The next one gets properly adventurous. We're heading into a completely different part of the Pilliga to investigate some old information I found about a cave system with indigenous history. It's also where we nearly come unstuck for the first time, hitting quicksand and boggy terrain. And that has us questioning our route choices. You won't want to miss how this one plays out. So guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please keep in mind this is a self-funded channel, so I would greatly appreciate if you could help me out by sharing, liking and subscribing. And if you can, please consider head over to Patreon or buy me a coffee, and with the equivalent of a cup of coffee or two per month, you can really help me making these videos. Thanks a lot for watching and see you along the tracks.